Thank you. I've never led one of these workshops before, and I was telling them that this felt like homework to kind of put this together, so hopefully it's enough. But I'm Brian Spitz. I'm the owner of Big State Home Buyers. I don't know, I've met some of you guys before. I have a couple of my people from my sales staff here. Got Darren Morris is one of my sales agents, and Mark Brady, and then maybe a couple others will straggle in late. But what I do is I wholesale properties. I've done this for about 7, 8 years. Big State is officially 4.5 years old, so I did this as a one-man show for a long time before we grew and started becoming a larger scale company. And I don't have anything to sell. I don't have a mentoring program. I don't have a book, a CD, of course. So, but the plus side of that is, right. The plus side is I don't have anything to sell you. So I'm happy to offer you whatever kind of information. I'm just doing this really to, reach out and become a little bit more active in the Rich Club. Yeah. And so what I did is I prepared the slides, so I'm going to make the speech around the slides, but they cover kind of a combination of wholesale real estate and then buying. So how many people are here to learn more about wholesaling? Okay, that's kind of what I thought. And then how many people are active real estate buyers, like buying and holding properties? And okay, so either can benefit from this. I kind of geared it towards the wholesaling a little bit more because I thought that might be what you guys wanted to hear, but definitely both. Big State is named for a family company, Big State Pest Control, which was a pest control company that my grandfather had, who's actually here. And so I took the name when I incorporated Big State, so that's the history of the name. And of course, all the theme is Texas Western, because nobody here is real offended by the Texas theme, whether you're from Texas or not. I wanted to ask before I kind of go through this, is there any questions up front that you'd like to make sure I hit? Like any particular questions you guys came with you'd like to see me hit on in the slides? Yes?
Things not to do.
Things not to do? Oh, that's good. I didn't do that. Things not to do. Okay.
Secrets that you don't want to tell anybody.
Okay. John?
Can you convince somebody to sell their house?
Due diligence.
Due diligence. Okay. That's boring. Not too. What? Yes?
How do you hold a property long enough to get clear title?
Okay. That's actually a major part of this business is title work and then due diligence. The math? Okay, yeah.
Does wholesaling require a double closing?
No, it doesn't. I'd actually discourage you from doing it, but we'll put that in there. Unless you have to. Anything else? Okay.
This came up just today to me. You ever think about zombie titles?
Title?
Okay, no talk, no time.
Okay. Do you have a sentence about it? Maybe I know it's something else.
I think it's not in Texas that it's happening, but it's where the bank tells the owner they're going to foreclose, and the bank does not foreclose.
Yeah, no, I don't. That brings up another thing I'll say is my specialty is dealing with homeowners. So I market to and deal almost exclusively with people selling their houses. I'm not, I know how to deal with foreclosures. I'm not picking them up at the foreclosure auction. Of course, that's a viable way to do it. I'm not really bidding on properties on the multiple listing service. The properties that I wholesale, and these make for the best properties, are off the radar. They're not listed. They're not. Maybe they don't even know they want to sell the house, but they're properties that are nobody knows about. So those make the best deals. The real estate market for investors in Houston is extraordinarily strong right now. So there's a lot of competition for good real estate deals. There's a lot of competition with other wholesaling companies. Last year, we sold a little over 150 deals, mostly wholesale. This year, we'll sell over 220. I have 5 full-time salespeople and then an admin staff of 3 people that work to cure title, take phone calls, do that kind of stuff. So we have a fairly decent-sized operation, but of course, I started just doing this out of my apartment. Anyway, so I gear, my message is based on being of service to the buyers and sellers, because the biggest secret, really, and the convincing the sellers, those 2 questions, are really all about service to me. So, anybody, there's a lot of companies that can go out there and buy your house cheap and make you an offer and inspect the property, and but just like if you think about yourself and how you're to, there's a little bit extra. You might go an extra step and do business with somebody that you really trust or that seems to have something to offer you other than money. Because when people are selling properties to wholesalers or to investors, they're walking away from a substantial amount of money. Most of the people are not desperate for money. Most of the people are not going into foreclosure or tax auction. Most of the people are not in bankruptcy. Of course, there is a segment of our business that's that, but what Big State deals with is people, who have inherited houses, have some kind of emotional problem, have some kind of stress that's associated with the real estate, or the real estate is a symptom of another problem. So this is going to be a little bit cheesy, but these are the 5 core values at Big State, and we all have them defined. But we are really geared, to our core at treating our customers, as customers. They're not just a property. It's not just a wholesale fee. We really enjoy doing them service, helping them find a place to live, or helping them with a clean out service on their house, helping them fix their title. Going at it with the mentality that you can offer something other than just money will take you a long way in this business. And so, again, I don't know how. I kind of made this very general, so that's why I said I'm not selling anything, so you're welcome to ask questions. So Houston and Texas in general is about a good place, probably the best place in the country to be investing in real estate. And, I don't do very many of these, so I don't know how well you can read it, but, Houston, more than anything else, is important as named the #1 healthiest real estate market in 2013 in the country. The economy here is based on multiple centers of industry. There's oil, there's medical, there's technology, and then I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but there's a term called the Tex-aPlex, which covers some of the major metropolitan cities in Texas. And what they say is there's more business being transacted in these few cities than in most any small country, between the economic impact that Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Austin, the economic impact of these cities is so huge. And what makes Houston so great is our cost of living is very reasonable. Houses are very inexpensive relative to what they are in the rest of the country. So it's really easy to get into properties that are, your cash flow, a lot of people, they want houses that are like 130 and, 80 to 130. Those make really good rental properties, and then flipping properties, 125 and up. So there's a huge market, of a lot of territory to cover in Houston. So job growth is really stable. It's got one of the lowest unemployment rates in the country. And I think this says by 2030, they forecast there'll be an additional 14 million people in those couple of cities. So all to say that there's no excuse why you can't be in the real estate business in this city. And there's no excuse for you not to make money in it. So, so back to this, I'll knock out secrets and convincing sellers, especially here. So a wholesaler, this is all of these things: a problem solver, an entrepreneur, a marketing specialist, a property inspector, appraiser, a negotiator, title examiner. Those may be all things that you expect. The bottom stuff is maybe a little unexpected. A person with a strong stomach, therapist and marriage counselor is definitely one you're going to be if you get into this. Grief counselor. We have one of our salespeople we call the Big State Grief Counselor because she gets on the phone with people that are panicking. and then a mediator and a real estate investor. I've bought and flipped many properties, and I've lost money in properties. So I've done big renovations and had to write some books to get out of some mistakes early on. So it's a really good lesson. It's a really nice thing to be able to buy from wholesalers that also invest in real estate. If you're wholesaling, to also do a couple of deals, because once you get into the nitty-gritty and really know what it costs to do, this is not a cheap business. There's a lot of risk, and there's a lot of homework required, and you have to really know what you're doing. So, and I would encourage anybody, and I tell anybody that buys from us, we really want to make sure that you have a plan to exit out of the property. After you buy the property from Big State, we're not lending money. We're just really locating the deals, clearing the title, and helping you guys get the property, and then you take it from there. But most of our business is from repeat customers. I have a few repeat buyers here in the room. And so, again, that strong focus on service and honesty, and then making sure that people know what they're doing. It's not hear the greater fool theory where there's someone that's a greater fool than you. That's not what we're after. The wholesalers that are in that business go out of business very quickly. So, are anybody in here already a full-time wholesaler? Okay. New Western. Okay. Competition. That's the other one of my beliefs is I'm not real big. I'm not worried about giving stuff away or talking, or I'm real friendly with all my competitors because there is just so much business. This is not a shortage. There's plenty of business for me and you and everybody else in this room to go out and make money. So the truth is the secret is getting in and doing it, because that's where you learn all the stuff that you need to know. So I'll stay with this for a second. So a marketing specialist, you can start as simple. When I started just writing yellow letters. I don't know if you guys have heard of the yellow letters, but that was back in Ron LeGrand's thing, where I would just drive up and down streets and look for houses that weren't necessarily the ugliest, but ones that looked like they hadn't been updated or maintained, or something in neighborhoods that people wanted to live in. My first wholesale deal was in Westbury 4, and I've done a lot of business in Westbury and Southwest Houston. So I just drive up and down the streets and just write addresses down, and then go on the tax record and, hi, my name is so-and-so, and I saw your property, I'm interested in buying it, please call me. So very simple. And that's the marketing message for real estate acquisitions, in my opinion, is very simple. You don't want to answer people's questions up front in your real estate marketing. You just want them to contact you. And 8 out of 10 of them aren't going to sell their property as cheap as you need to buy it, but you want to get them on the phone. So this is a real sales-oriented business, and that's why I say all of these things about being a marriage counselor, grief counselor, mediator, because you're going to get all kinds of stories. I have seen every kind of house there is to see, every kind of mess, every repair, every title problem, from estates to, I deeded it to my parents so my wife couldn't take it, and then my mother died and she didn't have a will, and so now it's in my father's name, but it really belongs to me. Can we close in 7 days? No. And then, so really disarming people, getting them to trust you, to know that you're on their side, and then getting in and negotiating, because even though we're a service-oriented company, we are a company that has to make money, and we don't, there's no blurring about that. I have, 8 people that work for me. We have a lot of marketing expenses. We have a lot of overhead, so we're in business to solve problems, and we're in business to make money. Let's see. But the marketing, so I said I started with just the general yellow letters. Bandit signs are a good way. You mentioned that. You can get a lot of phone calls from those handwritten cash for houses signs. For us, you can flip it. This is a preview of our newest website. It's only 80% done, and I hesitated putting it up. But we have multiple websites. Most of them are powered by very AdWord campaigns and schemes. And in fact, Big State outsources all of that to a company out in Arizona. About the secret, that's the one I won't share. But we have gone through a lot of growth in our marketing, and we have websites that hit mobile, because more searches are done on these things in your iPhones now than on computers. We have websites that are geared towards desktops and PCs. We have all the money we spend, the bulk of it is in marketing. And so, we have very simple squeeze pages, lady holding the cash, cash for your house. And then this is basically our corporate website where we send people, there's downloadable PDFs and video blogging and all kinds of stuff where people can learn more about Big State. But, you know,